The BHARCS Way is too soft and doesn't work on certain dogs. This is something I hear quite frequently. How true is it? Now, we know that a lot of these dogs where sort of tougher and harsher methods are being recommended, they're dogs that have been through a lot. Life has not been easy on them. They're in a state of complete emotional dysregulation. And what they need is not toughness. What they need is not to be punished or shown their place or taught a lesson or two, or for that matter, even trained and behavior modified. What they actually need is secure attachment and connection. And there's a lot of emerging science around this, but that's not what I want to talk about today. You'll find a lot of it. Go ahead and have fun on Google Scholar if you want the studies. But what I want to do today is to ask you to put yourself in the shoes of these dogs. Can you think of a time, the last time you've been in a state of complete emotional dysregulation? You're not able to get it under control. You're just exploding. You may have been punished. You may have lost friends over this. You may have been fired. People may even have been nice about it and told you nicely that, this is not done. Or you may be offered a reward for it. Get your act together. You'll get a raise. You can retain your job. Different ways of getting you not to do this. And while all of them push you and maybe even fill you with guilt, none of them actually help you to emotionally regulate. There's no support there. And it can be. You can be supported through returning to a process of emotional regulation. Children can be and should be supported through it. For those of you who don't know about Dr. Gabor Mate, please look him up. He talks a lot about this idea of giving children an opportunity to be authentic and support them as they find their way back to a state of emotional regulation through secure attachment and connection. But sadly, and he also talks about how not doing it can cause generational trauma, which, of course, I think is not just generational trauma that we carry in ourselves, but we're passing it on to dogs too, in the way we deal with dogs too, to a point where we don't even seem to know that there is another way of dealing with things. We can actually support these individuals as they go through their struggles, because that's their journey. They have to do it. And this is all that we can do, is to support them through secure attachment and connection and acceptance. And that is something that we don't know even exists. It's a way of life that we don't know is possible because we have been filled with guilt about the state of dysregulation. We've been taught that it is bad behavior. We've taught that we have been punished for it, and we've been taught that we have to punish others for it. Or in places where we are not punishing anymore, at least we have to gently, kindly lead people away from this and discourage this behavior and encourage alternate behavior, kind of a thing. But the idea that we support the individual as they return themselves back to a state of emotional regulation, that is something that is it's a conversation that is still in very niche circles, but really a very, very powerful one that we embrace at BHARCS. So what we do at BHARCS when you come in for C101 is we give you the tools to first start communication, how to establish that true connection, not commanding. That's not how you establish connection, and that's not really communication. Not cues, not getting them to learn your words, not teaching them how to use English words, but really communicating at an emotional level. And then we talk about how do you reassure them, not by hugging them, dogs don't like that, not by telling them, hey, it's okay, or pretending that, the problem doesn't exist. These are not reassuring. So how do you reassure them? How do you actually establish a secure connection? And then the next thing that we look at is how do we get the dog, the individual, in a state of mind where they're able to process and do the hard job of emotional regulation, return back to where they were at, return back to the center. And that is hard. It's hard for human beings, it's hard for dogs. Well, it's a little easier for dogs if we facilitate it because they don't kind of fight it. So we talk a lot about that. And of course, we talk about then once the dog is in a place of better regulation, how do you establish your own boundaries so that, the dog is not kind of just running all around and crossing your boundaries all over the place and frustrating you. So we understand that this can be very difficult and frustrating for you too. So we really try to address all parts of it with the same level of empathy, and you will see that theme kind of repeat. People say, once I start doing this for dogs, I'm able to be kinder on myself. I'm able to be kinder on others as well. I understand what it means to provide that connection and secure attachment. So I really welcome you to come and try this out and see for yourself what this experience is like. Go ahead and read some of the reviews that we have on Google and Facebook, which kind of tells you how this experience has translated to a lot of people and why people feel so deeply moved by it. It definitely does not involve yelling, shouting, screaming, or even extraordinary amounts of training. We find all that very stressful. So yeah, check it out. And if you think our approach, the way we look at things, is the right approach for you, in your gut you've been feeling that this kind of stressful thing is not right for your dog, not right for you, you want a more empathetic, understanding approach, which your dog can definitely benefit from. It's not that it's not meant for them, it's meant exactly for those kind of dogs. So if you feel in your gut that your dog needs more kindness, more understanding, and you would like help with that, then do come and sign up for CE 101 or check out my book, Dog Knows, Learning How to Learn from Dogs.